member, and he's the host of The Tonight Show. Currently, everybody give a big old warm welcome to Jimmy Fallon. Hey, Jimmy.
Oh, hey there. You made it. Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide.
Emily.
And the greatest driver.
Sage.
They're the best. I love them. Even though
Emily
owes me $5.
Oh, sorry.
You guys are
Jimmy.
excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
That's right, Jimmy. We do have a few safety rules to cover. First, if you need guest assistance or have a medical emergency, if you drop something of value off the side of the tram, or if you have any sound or video issues, reach up and grab the red emergency cord that runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram, and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it is safe to do so. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please remain seated. Keeping your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. The studio is private property, so if at any time during the tour you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the cord above your head, and I'll be back to assist you. Please, no smoking of any kind on today's tour, and be prepared. Our tour today features loud noises, sudden tram movements, fire effects, and water effects. You're going to want to have those cell phones and cameras out for great photo opportunities. Just keep an eye on them so they don't get wet. And finally, for your safety and for those around you, please do not use selfie sticks while you are on board. And with that, we're officially headed in to the heart of the film and television studio. On your left and on your right-hand side, as we head down the Universal timeline, you'll see some posters that represent a few of the thousands of movies that have been made here by Universal Studios for well over the past century. The Universal Studios has been making movies for the past 108 years, if you can believe it. Now on your screen you'll see some images, some historic images from our opening day here at Universal Studios. This is from March 15th, 1915. That's our founder, Carl Laemmle, tipping his hat to everybody. Here he is pictured with the keys to the city, because not only are we a fully functioning film and television studio here, but we're also our very own city, with all the amenities that every other city in the world would have, including our very own fire station, which is right over here on your right-hand side. That's a real fire truck, real firefighters who work every single day, who protect us, make sure we're nice and safe here at Universal Studios. We also, again, have all the amenities of every other city in the world, like our own sheriff's department, our own postal code, our own Starbucks. The only thing that we do not have would be residents. That's because nobody actually lives here. But we do have thousands of people who come to work here every single day to make the movies and television shows that we all know and love. Now we're actually undergoing one of the largest expansions to date. You're going to see some construction for that coming up here in just a moment on your left-hand side. Now while our studio is expanding, so is our theme park. We are very excited to announce that Super Nintendo World will be opening here in early 2023 here at Universal Studios Hollywood. You can find updates about Super Nintendo World on our website and our social media accounts. If you want a behind-the-scenes look at Super Nintendo World, just look up towards the right-hand corner of the sky. Hey, there's a little 8-bit world that they're building right now for Super Nintendo World. It's pretty cool. If you're just as excited about Super Nintendo World opening as I am, let me hear you say, wahoo! Yeah, it's like we're in Mario Kart or something. That's awesome. Now we're headed into the front lawn portion of our studio. This is where we house the majority of the 28 sound stages here on the lot. Now these sound stages are these big brown buildings coming up on your left-hand side. Right now, inside of these sound stages currently, on your left is the second season of Grand Crew. We actually have the elephant doors, these openings open right now, so you can take a look inside of soundstage 11 and 10. You can see the backs of the sets, the interiors of the sets that they're building inside the soundstage 10 and 11. Now, these sound stages are essentially a large empty space, a big blank canvas for productions to go in and build whatever they require. They also have heavily padded walls that help them stay about 98% soundproof. So, in the event that I do see that they're filming inside of here, I'm going to be hopping off the mic, but again, they're about 98% soundproof, which is great. But you want a completely controlled environment, so that's why I'd be hopping off the mic. I'm just going to be looking around, making sure they're not filming inside of here. Actually, inside of the sound stages that we just passed, you're filming the second season of Bel Air, which is a dramatic retelling of The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, starring Jabari Banks. You can watch the whole first season of that show exclusively on our streaming service, Peacock. Now, speaking of Bel Air, actually passing by their base camp. Now, the base camp is where they have their costume trailers, the trailers that the actors would go to, their dressing rooms that are not being needed on set. That's also where they go get ready in the morning, go through hair, makeup, and wardrobe. That's this general area right over here, located by Soundstage 14, which is also being utilized by the same production of Bel Air. Now, once Bel Air is wrapped, they're going to be coming in filming the third season of Hacks, which you can watch the first two seasons of that show on HBO Max. Now, Soundstage 14 has also been home to some pretty epic sequences for some epic movies like Jurassic Park. If you remember the sequence where the Jeep is falling through the tree, it was filmed inside of Soundstage 14. It was also home to the top of Mount Crumpet and How the Grinch Stole Christmas starring Jim Carrey. That's where they built the top of Mount Crumpet. Now, of course, Universal is known for epic movies like Jurassic Park, but we're also known for a pretty epic lineup of TV shows at NBC Universal, going all the way back to the 1930s. Now, on your screen, you'll see a quick timeline of some of our most notable titles, many of which are actually filmed inside of these sound stages over here on the right-hand side. Shows like The Jeffersons, Coach, One Day at a Time, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Recently, the 4th season of Mindy Kaling's show, Never Have I Ever, wrapped inside of these sound stages over here. Now, one of my favorite shows would be The Good Place. All 4 years of the interior shots of The Good Place were shot inside of Soundstage 19, which is actually at the end of the row over here on the right-hand side. Now, that show starred Kristen Bell and Ted Danson. And speaking of Teds, we do love Teds here at Universal. In fact, we've got a very famous teddy bear over here, Theodore Cleverlang from the movies Ted and Ted 2. He's toasting us with that martini. He's celebrating because he's got a new show. Right now, they're filming on our lots. And it's a new prequel series coming to our streaming service, Peacock. Now, it's about the family-friendly teddy bear, who is voiced by Seth MacFarlane, who is the creator of the show as well. Now, these small brown buildings over here on your left-hand side, these are called the bungalows. And at one point in time, these bungalows were used as dressing rooms to stars like Doris Day, Rock Hudson, and Lucille Ball. Nowadays, they're actually being used as production offices to some pretty high-profile production companies. Some of those being Dwayne The Rock Johnson's company, $7. They produced the TV show Young Rock. Also, Jordan Peele's Monkey Paw Productions. They produced movies like Get Out and Us, and most recently, Nope, which I gotta tell you, yep, 100% see that one. That's one of my new favorites. We also have Mark Platt Productions here on the lot. They produce musical movies for the screen like La La Land, but also musicals for the stage like Wicked and Dear Evan Hansen. They're currently working on the movie adaptation of the musical Wicked, starring Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. Bungalow 5195 over here on your left has a silhouette painted on the side of it. That's because at one point in time, that bungalow belonged to the director Alfred Hitchcock, who brought us thrillers like Psycho, Vertigo, and The Birds. Now, to me, there's really nothing more thrilling than live musical theater, which is performed over here in sound stages on your left-hand side. That's where they filmed Hairspray Live. That's also where they did the final revival seasons of Will and Grace. They're nicknamed the Will and Grace sound stages. And we're headed out of the front lot portion of our studio where we film mostly interior shots inside of those sound stages and head to our back lot. Now, our back lot is where we can film exterior scenes on a large scale. We're going to be passing through and by our Metropolitan Sense. One area coming up over here on your left-hand side is New York Street. Get out your cameras. This is not going to be the last time that you see New York Street. We're going to pass by again, so you'll be able to get another picture of it. Now, New York Street has been seen in superhero films like Captain America: The First Avenger, The Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2. It's been seen as the streets of Gotham City in Batman and Robin. It's also seen as the streets of London in Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, as well as the swinging 60s of London in Austin Powers: The Spy Who Shagged Me, Chicago and the Blues Brothers. It could be any of those things because it's just basically a big blank slate meant to look like any city, large metropolitan city in America or in the world, like in London. Now, all of the buildings that you see here are one of two things, and that would either be a facade or a practical set. Now, a facade is just the front and sides of the building, but if you were to actually walk into any of the doors here in the Metropolitan Sets, you'd walk into something that looks a lot like this. So it's basically a shell, a lot of wood holding everything up. You can't actually film inside of those buildings, but we do have practical sets, meaning you can film fully inside and outside. The facades are just meant to give the illusion that the building is real. That's not the only thing that's meant to trick your eye into thinking that it's real when it's not. Another version would be right over here on your left-hand side. This is called a Trump Boy. Essentially, it's a flat wall painted using a three-dimensional technique that's to trick your eye into thinking that it's real when in fact it's not. This area over here on your right is called London Square. It was seen in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Agent Carter, as well as the Mindy Project, it was seen as India, and Curb Your Enthusiasm. Now we've got some more base camps, some more sets, or not sets. These are dressing rooms for the second season of American Auto, starring Anna Gasteyer. Now they're going to be filming inside of our Metropolitan Sets. Again, they're setting up for a lot of stuff here on our back lot, so we're going to be passing by a lot of production. So definitely keep your eyes peeled. In fact, you can see a lot of signage for a lot of these productions posted up all around the backlot here, including American Auto. You can see on your left-hand side, we have a lot of signage for that. That indicates that they're going to be filming in the nearby area. Take a look on your screens to see an example of where we are right now, everything that we just saw filmed in an episode of Will and Grace.
We had our share of humdingers. Me included. One time I took a drink that said Lisa on it from my coffee place. I know my name's not Lisa.
You are a bad girl. Stop the tram!
Now you might have noticed that our tram made a little appearance on this screen. That's actually not the first time that our tram's been on screen. Every time that we have ourselves a good old-fashioned trameo, a tram cameo, I like to go ahead and feature it on the tour. Go ahead and take a look. We love a good trameo. On your right-hand side, that's New York Street again. Hey, if you're a fan of American Ninja Warrior, that's also where they filmed the final obstacle course sequence. They built it all the way up and down the streets of New York. Now, as we're passing by the concrete jungles of New York, we're headed into the actual jungles of Skull Island. Here to tell you a little bit more about it is the director of King Kong, Peter Jackson.
That made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up an adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island. It was great to meet you.
We are about to return to Skull Island, so I'm going to ask everybody to remain seated at all times, hanging on to any loose personal belongings. If you have any flashes on your cameras, make sure you turn those off so we don't disturb the wildlife. On the count of 3, I want to hear the best King Kong roar. 1, 2, 3! Oh, okay, that's pretty good. You want to try it again? 1, 2, 3! That is better. Everybody get those 3D glasses out and ready to go. You're going to go ahead and put those on. Welcome back to Skull Island. Everybody give it up for King Kong Day 60! There you go! That's pretty cool. Now, what we just saw was brought to us by Peter Jackson and the team at Weta FX. Weta FX is a company that specializes in computer-generated imagery, or CGI for short. They've worked on some of the biggest films of all time, from Lord of the Rings trilogy to Avatar, King Kong, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. They're currently working on the newest Avatar film, The Way of Water. On your screen, you'll see a behind-the-scenes look at King Kong 360 3D, and that's where we just were. Those are some of the largest 3D screens in the world. They're about 40 feet tall, stretch as wide as about 180 feet. Now, let's hear from some of the creators from OneFX to tell us a little bit more about how they brought King Kong to life on our studio tour.
With a project like the studio tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions, there's creatures coming at them, they're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know where the people are looking. They're looking straight ahead, they're looking at the shot that we're working on.
Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts, because it's one giant shot. This tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the cameras come. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away.
We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting them to the audience, it's a hell of a ride.
Now, at one point in time during King Kong 360 3D, we saw a portion of our tram appear on screen, and at that time, our tram, again, it was a Tramia. We love to see a Tramia. But it became a picture car. Now, a picture car is any vehicle that is featured on camera, and here at Universal Studios, we do actually have quite the collection of picture cars. In fact, we brought some out from storage, we dusted them up, we put them out on display just for you all, so you can get an up-close personal look at some of your favorite vehicles or some of your favorite television shows and films. They're coming up right now here on your left-hand side. Now, a vehicle can do more than just take a character from place to place. They can be characters within themselves, like Pet 15, what? Like they did in Back to the Future too. Just like they do with the Flintstones. They did in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I was who did in Jurassic World. They're one of our most recent. Also, this Bradley fighting vehicle. Another common technique would be replacing glass later digitally in post-production, which is the final stages of production when they added all the final elements. Now, they create glass digitally because glass is naturally a really reflective surface. So it's going to show the reflection of everything, including the reflection of the camera. So in order to prevent that from happening, they just don't have the glass there at all. And that's exactly what happened with that gyrosphere that we just saw. It was missing the glass because it would have shown the reflection of everything. So that's why they don't have it there. Now, the gyrosphere is just one example of a vehicle that has taken guests through dino territory. It's not an uncommon concept, but you know what is pretty uncommon is taking a tram through dino territory. So how about we do that right now?
To Jurassic Park.
Thanks, John Hammond. Welcome, everybody, to Jurassic Park. Well, our version, at least, this is where we have a lot of the original props and set pieces from the original Jurassic Park trilogy, including this mobile lab over here on your left-hand side that was featured in the Lost World Jurassic Park. Again, it's made out of plywood, painted to look like metal, the same technique they used to build these cages that were split. Well, that's weird. There were definitely dinosaurs in these cages the last time that I was here, so... Oh, that's where they went. Okay. We got some dinosaurs on the list. Yeah, they probably figured out they were made out of wood. They chewed through the wood. That's not a good idea. Oh! Dinosaurs. A little less dangerous. Now, in the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies, there's this common theme of inclement weather and how it's used as a tool to let the audience know that something sinister might be coming without ever actually having to see the thing. Now, rain, more specifically, is an example of a practical effect that can be created on set in a moment. It doesn't have to be added in later digitally in post-production. Here in sunny Southern California, it doesn't really rain a whole lot, so we do have to make it rain ourselves. But it's totally possible, pretty easy. In fact, we have a demonstration set up for you here in our Old Mexico set so that you can see how we make rain in the movies. Now, when you think of a rainstorm, what's the first thing you think of? Maybe a little bit of thunder, some lightning? Well, that's created using a strobe light technique that's flashing, and then the sound is being projected through speakers that are carefully hidden all throughout Old Mexico. All we're missing is a little bit of the rain. So how about we go ahead and cue the rain, please? And, oh, there we go. Thank you so much. Now, the rain is being created using a highly complicated and just wildly technical system. You might not have heard of them. but they're called sprinklers. Yeah, they shoot the water straight up in the air, and the water falls back down to the ground in a really natural way, using only gravity itself. In order for this to show just a little bit better on camera, filmmakers strategically light the water. Now this is pretty convincing, wouldn't you say? Yeah, not too bad. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn off the water, that way we don't get too wet. Oh no, I'm so sorry. This is my fault, but I accidentally hit the button for all the water. Now that was our flash flood sequence, everybody. That's actually been here on the studio tour since 1968, and don't worry, I'm pretty sure they changed the water since then. It's actually featured in this movie called Big Cat Fire, starring Paul Giamatti, Frankie Muniz, and Amanda Bynes. Take a look.
You can't outrun the wolf, kid! Yeah, we'll see about that.
Now you might recognize those old Mexico sets from some other notable films, like The Three Amigos, starring Chevy Chase, Martin Short, and Steve Martin, and Nacho Libre, starring Jack Black. Now we're going to get a behind-the-scenes look at our Six Pointer Western sets over here on your left-hand side, which were featured in Quentin Tarantino's film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. This street has also most recently been seen in the new reboot series of Quantum Leap. Comes out every Monday on NBC, so definitely keep an eye out for that. Now, 6 Points gets its name originally as an ode to the silent film era. Back then there were 6 identical Western streets, and oftentimes they would all film one all at the exact same time, and they could do that because they weren't recording any sound. So it was a silent film era. Now folks, we are at about the halfway point of our tour, so we just want to remind everybody to remain seated. Once again, if you have an emergency, go ahead and pull on the cord above your head, and I'll be back to assist you, but please do remain seated. Now, on your left-hand side is a large body of water called Park Lake, and across from Park Lake are some more sound stages. Now, those sound stages are where they filmed the American Song Contest, hosted by Snoop Dogg and Kelly Clarkson, who hosts her daytime Emmy Award-winning talk show, The Kelly Clarkson Show here. It's also where they filmed the singing competition, The Voice. It's also home to a couple of different Jordan Peele movies. They filmed the final sequence of Us. Also, Nope. They filmed a couple sequences over there as well inside of those sound stages. Now, earlier on the tour, we passed by some sound stages, and that was pretty cool. But you know what's even cooler? It was going inside of a sound stage. So, Sage and I made a couple of phone calls able to get you inside a sound stage 50. Now, this is technically the only standing set here on the lot, meaning it's always going to look like this. Always going to look like a subway station. So when productions need to film inside of a subway station, they'll just come and film inside of here. The current crew cast that are filming inside of here have given us permission to be in here right now, so want to respect that, not touch anything or get up, move anything. They don't really notice if we've moved stuff in here. Oh. That was weird. It is California. It happens all the time. I really wouldn't worry about it. At least we didn't get wet. Oh no. Oh, thank goodness I see the light. Say, let's get out of here. Congratulations, everybody. You just survived earthquake, the big one. Give yourself a big round of applause. Well, that simulated an 8.3 earthquake on the Richter scale. Those practical effects were featured in an episode of the TV show called Bones, starring David Boreanaz and Emily Deschanel. Take a look on your screen to see how they used them. What's going on? Let's get out of here! The water main just broke! basically the part of the tour where we take you from that very stressful experience of the earthquake to a nice relaxing trip to the beach in Amity Island. However, you're here at a very interesting time because we're undergoing a complete redesign and construction of our Amity Island sets over here. So nobody ever gets to see this. This is how we operate our Jaws attraction here on the studio tour. But you know what? You don't get to go without seeing Bruce, our shark. He's hanging out right over there, right smack in the middle. Oh, he looks so nice. Now, we're heading into more of the residential portion of our back lot. This is where we have a lot of the houses and neighborhoods that we film in, including Elm Street over here on your left-hand side. That was seen in To Kill a Mockingbird, as well as the newest in all the seasons of Never Have I Ever. Then we've got this house coming over here on the right-hand side. This is called the Chicken Ranch. This is from The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, starring Dolly Parton and Burt Reynolds. That's an example of a practical set, meaning you can film fully inside and outside of the Chicken Ranch, because it does look like the inside of a house inside of there. And then directly behind it is a textbook example of a facade. So it's just the front of the building. As you can see, it's not a real house. It's just meant to give the illusion that the Chicken Ranch has neighbors. But you can't film in there because it's not a full house. Now take a look on your screen to see some more examples of how the Chicken Ranch has been used over the years. Now folks, we have about 15 minutes left until the end of our tour, so just want to remind everybody, if you do have an emergency, go ahead and pull on the red cord above your head and I'll be back to assist you, but please remain seated. Now we have about 400 acres of land here at Universal Studios, and every square inch of that acreage can be used as a filming location, and the same could be said for where we are right now. Now it might not look like a whole lot, but this is Wilderness Road. This area can be seen as the middle of nowhere in films like Bird Box on Netflix starring Sandra Bullock. They built a makeshift campsite for her character right here on Wilderness Road. It was also seen in an episode of 911 on Fox. They had a scene filmed here involving an overturned limousine in the rain. Now that limousine, because it's a vehicle that was featured on camera, we learned a little bit earlier, means that it's a picture car. Well, we have a lot of picture cars here at Universal Studios. In fact, we have so many that one picture car lot that we saw was just part one of our picture cars. In fact, we have even more coming up over here on the right-hand side. If you're a fan of the Fast and Furious franchise, get ready. You're about to see a lot of Fast and Furious cars, including Dom's Black Charger, which is out front and center. Some of my favorites, though, would be the yellow Deuce Coupe from American Graffiti. Next to it, the green Mini Cooper, that's from Mr. Bean's Holiday. We've got the Mr. Machine right next to that. We've got a police vehicle from Public Enemies, and a yellow Camaro with the black stripes. That's Bumblebee for the Transformers series. He's currently taking a nap right now. That's why he's in that state. Yeah, he has a lot of meet and greets in the park, so we want to make sure that he gets all the rest that he needs. Somebody should probably warn him, though, that he's sleeping pretty close, dangerously close to the Bates Motel and the Psycho House up on the hill. Not a good place to rest. This is from the Alfred Hitchcock Psycho franchise, some of our most iconic sets here on the line. Now, you might be wondering what all that fencing is in front of the Bates Motel. That's actually for a little thing called Halloween Horror Nights. Is anybody joining us tonight for Halloween Horror Nights? Yeah! Woo! Definitely would recommend coming and hanging out with us here at Halloween Horror Nights. Get up close and personal to... Well, speaking of up close and personal, there's Norman Bates. You know what, maybe we could get a little pic with him. I'll ask. Hey Norman, would you mind just taking a quick selfie with me and my friends? We would really love it. Oh, you know what, on second thought, I think we're good. I think we're good, right? No one wanted the picture, so we're just gonna go. Thanks so much, Norman. Wow, that was stressful. Well, you know what, we landed at the plane crash site from Steven Spielberg's 2005 film, War of the Worlds. Now, this film starred Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning. That is a real Boeing 747 plane. It was chopped into several key pieces and brought over here all the way from the Mojave Desert. Now, take a look on your screens to see how this was used in the film.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision that Stephen had.
When we first began to sit down to talk about War of the World, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep your eyes on me. That's right. Now listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Okay. Got them closed? Robbie, get in. Get in.
Now, this plane crash site has also been seen in music videos like Nicki Minaj and Rihanna's music video for Fly, as well as a sketch comedy show, Key and Peele. There was a sketch film here called Morning a Plane Shouldn't Be This Hard. Now, that show was created by Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele has since gone on to become an Academy Award-winning director, writer, producer. His latest film is called Nope, and it's a sci-fi thriller starring Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer, and Steven Yeun. Now, where we're headed right now are the actual screen-used sets from the film. Now, this is the latest addition to the studio tour. It's the newest place that you can go inside of here on our tour. That's where we're headed right now. Take a look on your screens to hear a little special surprise from one of the cast members, Keke Palmer.
Studio tour. I'm Keke Palmer from Jordan Peele's film, Nope. What's a bad miracle? Well, you'll have to see our movie to answer that one. Until then, I hope you enjoy your visit to Jupiter's Claim.
Thanks, Keke. That's where we're headed right now on Jupiter's Claim. Here to introduce us to Jupiter's Claim is Academy Award-winning director Jordan Peele. Hey, take it away, Jordan.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Juke Park. Over there, look into the Winking Well and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old kid show. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Well, a little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. Not looking so live anymore. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy of a gold rush frontier town lies a sinister secret. It is smack dab in the center of the UFO hotspot. Welcome to the world of
I think we're going to go ahead and take that one as our cue to get out. Now, folks, we just spent about 45 minutes to an hour learning a little bit about how our favorite television shows, favorite movies are made, a little behind the scenes. But one thing that we have missed is such an important thing. It's in every single television show, every single movie, and that would be actors. Yeah, acting. Such an important part. Because we wouldn't have anything to watch if it weren't for the actors on screen. But you know what? I think we can rectify that. And all the actors right now in the latest Fast and Furious movie in the franchise. Who's excited? Woo! We're headed to set right now. Then here's your script. One of you on board is a witness to a crime. Uh-oh. And we need to hide you in here away from an international criminal. His name is Owen Shaw. And he is not a nice guy. We're going to meet our fellow actors. Their names are Roman and Lenny. They should be giving us a breakdown of what's going on. Should be here already. Hey, Roman, Lenny, y'all here?
His name is Roman Pierce. Pleased to meet you. Buddy Hobbs asked us to stash you with Shaw for a while. So we brought you in our secret spot. We're having a few friends over. It's a little messy. It's all good. The more the merrier. Especially you right there in that third row, like I was saying. So look, see over there? It's Hobbs' urban assault vehicle. The best truck the U.S. government can buy. That work of art back over there is made by my man Tej. Think of it as like a Mona Lisa on wheels.
extra.
So did you break it down to them?
What's that?
You had one job to do, Roman, one. All right, look, guys, we're gonna keep Shaw from finding you, but to keep you safe, we need your help. We don't want the syndicate tracking us here, so put away your cameras and turn off your cell phones. One flash or one ringtone could give us away.
I need y'all to take this real serious.
This is what we doing. This is the race day after party. Roman Pierce, FBI, don't move. Liam, that's right, party's over.
You know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? I'm not.
You're under arrest right now.
Hey, let's back up a little bit. It's likely.
First of all, I don't work for you. Oh, really? Well, tell me, Roman, who do you work for?
We don't work for nobody. I reckon this is clear out here, otherwise we can't guarantee safety.
Guarantee my safety? I'm the one holding the gun.
Yeah, but mine's a whole lot bigger than yours. Let's put this garbage out. Let's go, Cookie Puss.
That ugly pseudo, man. It's cheap.
Somebody out there really pissed off Shaw. It's gonna get ugly fast.
Yeah, don't worry. Lucky for you, our whole family will protect you.
Are you kidding me, Roman? You didn't shut off your phone, bro?
I gotta call you back. I'm in the middle of something.
Call you back. It was on vibrate.
Sean tricks us. I just can't hold him forever. Letty, Roman, we're out. Driver, move that vehicle.
It's about to get real interesting.
Alright everyone, that would be a really great time to put on those 3D glasses. That way we can protect our identities. Looks like we're headed into some sort of hockey garage. Huh. Looks kind of familiar. Huh. Oh, I got it. It's Jurassic Parking. How fun!
Which one of you is the witness? Speak now or you'll all get fined!
This is our
Drone's lining up the missile shot! Not gonna happen. Robert, don't shoot! That's from the bridge! Under construction! Everybody hold on!
Yeah. It's crazy. I never knew that a tram could look like that.
Good job, everybody. You protected the witness and you can resume breathing.
You know, it's crazy out there. You guys read hard. Respect.
You know, my Mona Lisa got messed up a little bit, but it's all good. We got through it. Y'all held us down. Appreciate it.
They say the bigger the family, the stronger it is. You guys did good out there. And you're welcome to join our crew anytime.
For over a century, Universal Studios has brought stories to life that transport us from our everyday lives into a new world full of captivating stories. and iconic characters. But those stories and characters that we see on screen now wouldn't be made possible without the countless cast and crew members who work day in and day out to make the movies and television shows that we all know and love. Now, sadly, all good things, they must come to an end, and that does mean that we have reached the end of our tour. I want to thank you all so much for joining us. It's been an absolute blast having you on board. My name is Emily. I have been your tour guide. Everybody give it up for our driver, Sage, for getting us back safe and sound. Thanks, Sage. We are going to be returning to the theme park very shortly in just a moment, which is going to be closing tonight at 6 p.m. a little early for Halloween Horror Nights. Now, if I had any advice to give to you, it would be to download the Universal Studios Hollywood app. That way you can see up-to-date wait times for all your favorite rides, like The Secret Life of Pets, and show times for shows like Animal Actors or our special effects show here at the Universal lot. Now, to purchase the NBC Universal movies and television shows that you've seen on the tour, visit www.uphe.com or ask to go to one of our retail stores. On behalf of Sage, myself, and everybody here at NBC Universal, we hope you've enjoyed this exclusive behind-the-scenes Hollywood experience and enjoy the rest of your day here at Universal Studios Hollywood, the entertainment capital of LA. Thanks everybody for joining us. Have a great rest of your day.